How's it going, everybody? Wanted to shoot a quick video and talk about this knife I picked up at the 2019 Blade Show. I was over hanging out at the Fiddleback Forge booth, and one of their apprentice smiths, his name is Fisher, he and I got into a conversation, and turns out he's got some of his own knives as well as being involved with the Fiddleback Forge, and I believe that's correct. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But he had some of his knives as well. I think he had 3 or 4 knives, and I think this one was a prototype. You can see a little better. Obviously the design will be familiar. It's actually the handle. I have pretty good size hands, and for me, having a knife that's got more handle than blade was a godsend. Um, it's about almost a 4-inch blade, maybe 3.5, 4 inches. I'll give you the exact specs when I get back to the house. I'm not sure exactly. I don't bring a tape measure out in the woods. We'll sit down when we get back to the house. We'll make some coffee and we'll go over the specs on this thing. I know it's A2 steel, but and of course black linen micarta. We have red liners, and then we have white liners, and this great skunk stripe here. I think he calls it a rally stripe, but I call it a skunk stripe. But it's Scandi grind down to a 0 edge. It doesn't have the micro bevel on it, which that's fine as well. You know, as long as you understand what the strengths and weaknesses are of each type of grind, then you know what you're working with, and if you have some skill with a blade, then you can use that knife appropriately. Each grind will have its strengths and weaknesses. And this is one of my favorite 2 grinds. I love a full flat grind, and I love a Scandi grind. There is no perfect grind. But again, knowing the strengths and weaknesses of each type, and again, this is one of my favorite blade profiles, and you should check out Fisher blades. I'll throw a link up on the video so you can check them out. But this thing is fantastic. Again, this was a prototype, and after a long conversation, I decided I was going to take a chance on a new smith, and I'm so glad I did, because this thing is absolutely fantastic. You wouldn't know this is a prototype, and you wouldn't know that he hadn't been making knives, you know, for 30 years. This knife is called the Morgan Woods knife. Fisher named it while we were having a conversation. So we're going to use this more in the weeks and months to come, but I wanted to go ahead and give you my initial impression of it. And I've been sitting here just carving on some just a down branch. I just got the old pocket boy and just took a section of something that was already lying on the forest floor, and I was trying some different cuts here, different style push cuts. Obviously some more traditional cuts this way. I even did the old chest lever grip. And it finesses. It doesn't really beat the wood up. It finesses through the wood. And that's really good to see with a knife. It's sharp, and I've been using different cuts to use the entire section of the blade. A lot of times you'll have something that's really sharp here, and then the blade profile kind of, something happens to it. It just wasn't ground correctly or something. But this one cuts equally as well. If you do some push cuts here, I'm going to do some fine work. Well, that tip just, and this thing just makes curls like you wouldn't believe. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll try to get it in the camera. I don't know how well I'm showing this. But it is just, this is just a finesse blade. This is just a finesse blade. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's no effort. Of course, that has to do with the grind and a good sharp blade. And I'm going to strop this when I'm done and keep the blade in good order. I'm not going to sharpen it. I'm just going to just hone it. But I've been out here for about an hour working with this thing. And I'm telling you right now, you can use all types of different grips. You know, if you want to use a more, what I call the precision grip, which gets a lot of control. It's a very safe grip. If you want to choke up here and get some really fine carving, you can do that. Now when I do this position, I'm more moving the wood away from me. I'm not moving the knife into me. Push cuts are fantastic. Every section of the blade. Again, this thing is a finesse woodworker. It really does a fantastic job. So Fisher, well done. I'm going to use this thing for a couple more weeks and give another review on it, but my initial impression is this thing is absolutely fantastic. So everybody, if you like a good, just a good Scandi grind that really finesses through wood, and this can handle all types of chores, I would recommend that you check out Fisher Blades, because this thing is absolutely fantastic. So in a couple of weeks we'll do another video, and maybe we'll do something useful, like maybe we'll carve it, you know, take a piece of wood all the way down and make us a bow drill set or a hand drill set, and we'll make fire or something like that, and we'll show this thing doing something useful. But I'm just experimenting with different style cuts just to see how the knife works, and it is absolutely fantastic. I'm not doing anything except just processing material. I made a couple of curls a few minutes ago. I'll show that. Maybe I'll edit that into the video, but absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm just making really small little curls. I'm not really trying to make a, you know, an expert feather stick or anything, but again, I'm just kind of having fun seeing what the knife does, seeing how it feels in the hand, and it feels fantastic. The spine's nice and sharp, so you can shave off bark or do anything else you wanted to do. If you're into striking a fire steel with your knife, you know, if that's the kind of thing you're into, you can do that. I mean, it's good for a knife to be able to do that, I will say. But this thing is fantastic for a small companion. You know, put this on your hip and it'll do anything you want it to do. Absolutely fantastic. We'll see you guys later. Greetings again, YouTube. We are back at the house. It is Friday morning, and we are having a nice steaming cup of coffee. And while I'm doing this, let me go ahead and give a shout out, if I can do this without spilling it, to the folks over at Bushcraft Coffee. I'm sorry, the Bushcraft Coffee Company. I met these guys at the Blade Show Saturday, and I wanted to get back there. I'm spilling it. I wanted to get back there and talk to them a little more and get some of their coffee, which I will be doing. But I got this great ceramic mug. That's good. So we're back at the house, and as promised, we're going to go over some specs of the Morgan Woods knife by Fisher Blades. And I've got a couple of cards here that Fisher wrote down for me. So, well, first I'll give you a better look at the knife, and I'll adjust the camera here a little bit. You don't need to see my face, you need to see the knife. So here's the knife. Put the sheet down. So once again, here's the good view of it, which I'm sure you saw during the video. There's the back of it. It's a decently thick spine. Beautiful. And as I said before, one of the best features about this is the large handle. So for me, that was a godsend. I mean, I've said that before, but it's absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. So let's go on with some general specs here. We'll before we measure it. It's made of A2 steel. It's black linen micarta with white and natural. So I guess he's talking about the scales and the stripes. So again, you've got the red stripes and the white and what I call the skunk stripe. And he says it's 58 to 60 Rockwell on here. I'll even show you the card that he wrote down for me. If you can see that. The blade is, 3.5 inches. And the handle is 4.5 inches. Overall length, 8 inches. So basically 4.5 inch handle, 3.5 inch blade, nice straight spine, 90-degree spine on it. It is fantastic. But those are the general dimensions. And again, I appreciate you joining me for the talk yesterday. Had a really good time out in the woods with it. We're definitely going to take it out again. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just me sitting around chatting, just getting used to it. Whenever I take a knife out, I don't really get too task specific with it. But what I will do is just get out work material, and that's what we did yesterday. You can see how this thing fits in the hand. It's nice and elegant. It's not an overly thick handle, but it's really nice. So have yourself a sip of coffee. Check out Fisher Blades and get out in the woods. Be safe. I don't know if you can see this, but it is just absolutely hogging this thing. And that is just beautiful. Those are some beautiful curls. This is fantastic. And I'm not really trying to make a feather stick or anything. I'm just playing around with the knife, and I found this piece of wood on the ground dead. So I just took the bark off of it. It's got a nice spine on it too. Nice and sharp, so you can really, scrape. Really get some fine dust, and you can almost use it like sandpaper. This thing's fantastic.